Okay, we're pleased to be joined by the second-year head coach of the Norfolk Admirals hockey team, Jeff Carr, here as he speaks at the Virginia Beach Sports Club here in the month of November. Coach, thanks for stopping by. How was Thanksgiving first and foremost for you?
Yeah, it was good. Thanks for having me. Had some family in town, so my nephews came in as well. So yeah, it was good. Took 2 out of 3 at home against the first-place team. So all in all, went well.
Yeah, we'll get to your team here in a second, but you spoke to the folks here at the luncheon about, you got into coaching at the age of 21. You're now 39 years of age. You're a Wisconsin native. What drew you to the sport of hockey? Because I know you were a multi-sport athlete growing up.
Yeah, I moved from Eagle River, Wisconsin, which had a huge hockey tradition, down to Illinois, and that was in the 90s, and Michael Jordan, if you've ever heard of him, was there, obviously, tongue-in-cheek. So, I took over into a couple years of basketball, and then our family moved back when I was 10 into hockey, or up north, to Wisconsin. Just easy transition to get back into what a lot of the kids played, and just took it from there.
Tell us about some inspirations for you, whether it be involved in the sport of hockey or in general during your upbringing, if you can.
I think the first one was the high school team, a lot like Texas football, where you're trying to win a state tournament and you're trying to be proud to play for that high school. That started it. Had a really good mentor named Tom Obradovich, who played at the Wisconsin Badgers. Then Craig Ledwig played in the NHL. So I think you pair all that around, and then the proximity of Craig's kids being our age and Tom Obradovich coaching us and having that high school dream to get up to it. I think every day that put it on your brain was an easy thing to get hooked onto.
You've coached in some other states. Obviously, you brought up about Utah in your discussion to the audience here, and you get the call to come to the Admirals as an assistant coach a year ago. Next thing you know, you're the head coach, I think, of a team that was 1-7 at that point. What's going through your mind? Is it's probably a whirlwind, and it's potentially a dream situation for you to get your career moving forward and accelerate a little bit?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Obviously, we came in here, my wife Ariel and myself, and we sold our brand new house in Knoxville, Tennessee, to just put all chips in for the Admiral organization at whatever capacity, and got that phone call to move from assistant to head. It was kind of blindsided us in a good way, but had no idea. Wish, obviously, Rod Taylor, who's an absolute legend, the absolute best. He's left a huge indelible mark on this franchise. And then we had to get to work, and we just kind of knew from the roster that we had and being in season, and we had a 19-day trip to still finish off, and we were close. We lost some key players, and then you could just tell it wasn't going to be a year that we were going to make playoffs. I mean, we had maybe a chance. We just didn't have enough sustainability at multiple positions and the leadership group, et cetera. So we started bringing in some quality players at the end of the year, got competitive, and then had a whole off season to recruit.
I think you said the number was 65 players on the roster for the whole year. What was the biggest thing you learned in year one that you've tried to apply here in year two?
No, I think the biggest thing is you got to have quality guys that want to play through anything to win at all costs. I've said it multiple times. The competitive nature from some of the guys that were let go or traded or released, they just didn't have it, bottom line. So when we were recruiting, we wanted guys that were past winners or wanted to do something special for their career, for the city.
Mm-hmm. A couple more before you let you run here. The Admirals have a rich tradition going back to the 90s. They've had some great players, the Draw and Brophy days. We know about Pat Cavanaugh, who's certainly at the top of this franchise right now. What do you think the message is to the fan base as far as you all trying to get that stability back a little bit? Because it's feeling like with all the different affiliation changes, there's been some, I don't know if turmoil is the right word, but a lot of changing and hard to get that grasp of where the franchise is right now. What would you tell the fan base, and how have you tried to go about getting that stability?
It's funny. I lived in Knoxville, Tennessee, and that fan base was trying to be back like the Peyton Manning, T. Martin Vols for 20 years, and I felt like the first day they stopped trying to be the Vols of 20 years ago, and obviously they had Hendon Hooker and Josh Heupel who really dictated a lot of decisions, but they had like this newfound culture, and they wanted to win, and they wanted to win at a high level. They wanted to beat Alabama. They wanted to do a lot of things for their careers in that little microcosm. They weren't looking back, and then all of a sudden they have the year they did, and they were one win away from probably winning it all. And it felt like back 1998, 99, right when there was, they had all that success. So I think for us, I've heard for the longest time, try to get back to the old days. The old days are gone. Now, however, the old days of our fan base isn't gone. The city isn't gone. The scope isn't gone. So if we can just stay task at hand and win, I think fans come out in droves, and you want to talk about life memories. I get all the time people go, I remember I was at this game in 1990 so-and-so, and there was sold out. We were all wearing white shirts, one of the highlights of my life, and it was, some fan bases you could just go to a game, but it's still going to be sterile or only 70% full. I just beg and plea, if you're a hockey fan or a fan of some high level play and really, really want a mark left in an environment like that, come out to the Scope. We're building something special, and we need you out there.
Well, to follow up on that, it's interesting because I think there's a truth and an honesty, but also an appreciation. You said you can't forget about those days, but yet you can't replicate it. That's where sports is now, whether it's the professional ranks, the minor league ranks. We see it with Admirals hockey here, the Norfolk Tides baseball, college sports with NIL now. It's different, even though you can't do what happened 15, 20 years ago. Even fans of, say, Old Dominion here locally say, I want to go back to the old CA glory days. It's different now. So, I mean, is that how you kind of approach things with your players, like brutal honesty of, look, we want to relish what happened in the past, but we can't live in the past and stay in the present, worried about getting better for the future?
Well, I think I could name 10 really good hockey players in the 1990s, and our guys wouldn't even know who they are. You know what I mean?
How kids are these days. We interview these players in college and high school because they don't know who played in 1998 or 2001, right?
They don't. So I don't think they care, to be quite honest. And it's not a selfish thing. They care about the guys in the generation of themselves, and I don't mean themselves, but like current players, and they want to emulate that game, and they're getting dictated by a lot of different people telling them how and what to think, and sometimes you got to let some skill take over and let them do their own thing, and then it feels like a good jigsaw puzzle that comes together, and then all of a sudden those special camaraderie moments happen.
I'll get you out on this one. Thank you for the time. The team now, I believe, is 8-6-1 as we go into the weekend. That's a lot better than last year's record and the 1-7 start that you inherited. What's working well for this group? And give the fans out there maybe some names to watch out for, and what's working for this exciting brand of hockey you guys are playing?
Yeah, I think the start of it is the players we got assigned and the leadership group, paired together. So you had some old school leadership group paired with some high octane talent together. You didn't have any preseason games. I think that put us behind the 8 ball. We lost 2 really close games and then had a 5-on-3 set cost us one time, and then we had 2 overtime and a shootout loss. So I feel like, honestly, I rarely say this, but I feel like we're more of a 10-6 or 10-4 style hockey team, not 8-6-2. We are what our record shows. We're a young budding team that's just bubbling right now for success. But we got here through a lot of hard commitment. Got to keep doing it here moving forward.
That's second-year head coach Jeff Carr, the Norfolk Admirals of the ECHL. Going out there and check them out at the Scope. Thank you so much, and we'll see you there.
Thank you.